really good at drinking out of these cups. So this year we wrapped up our summer with a quick little road trip up to Chicago. We did a ton of stuff while we were there, but one of my favorites was the Shedd Aquarium.
What was your favorite part of the aquarium?
Where we could pet the stingrays. My favorite. They had a little pool where you could put your hand in and they would swim by and you could pet them, and it was really cool.
One of my favorite places to go when we go to Chicago is the pier. I like to just kind of go down to the inn and just sit out and watch the water and the boats and the seagulls, or they're seagulls, right?
Yeah. One of Elliot's favorite places is the Adler Planetarium. They have this little car that kids can pedal, and he had a blast playing with that thing. They have this great section that's all about the Mars rovers.
You can drive remote control rovers, and kids can climb underneath and pop up their heads in these little domes.
Yeah, and I went in there too.
So one of the places we found the last time we were in Chicago was the Maggie Daley playground, and Elliot loved it. They have like lots of little sections. The biggest one has these 2 towers with this bridge that goes in between it, and the bridge kind of like swings, and it's kind of crazy when there's a lot of people on it.
He went all the way up to the top of it.
They also had like a little lighthouse that you could climb up in, and I actually went up in that too with Elliot. That was really crammed. And then they had like a slide that you could go down. I didn't go down the slide though. Thought I might get stuck.
So this park is like right in the middle of the city. It's in Millennium Park. It's actually kind of hidden when you go in the summertime. There's tons of trees and beautiful landscaping, and I feel like you could just walk by it and you wouldn't even notice it. And a trip to Chicago wouldn't be complete without stopping at
Legoland.
Legoland Chicago was insane. There was probably like 10 different daycare, childcare, summer camps.
Yeah,
there
was a lot of like field trip kids all running around in their green shirts. But we did have a lot of fun there. We did the typical Legoland stuff. They had the ramps where you could race the cars down, and then they jump off the end and fall into the box. They always have like a little ride that you can sit on and shoot the targets. And then they also have like a ride that spins around where you pedal and you go up in the air and go up and down.
They had a great little mini city. They also have this really great playground there. It kind of looks like a pirate ship mixed with a castle, and Elliot spent like hours there.
So they also had a lot of Star Wars stuff there when we went. It seems like every time we go to a Legoland, Star Wars is like crazy there. So we did pick up a few small things for Elliot. He got this little double-decker bus, and then we also found this cool cup, and it looks like a little Lego guy cup. The biggest thing that we got at Legoland was the Saturn V
Oh my gosh.
rocket. It took forever to put together, and it's very detailed. Even the instruction booklet is really cool. Like, it's like an actual like book, and it has like little information. All the stages separate just like they really do, and in the book it kind of describes like how everything happened. And Elliot just loved like acting through a launch.
And one thing that someone pointed out when we were there was that the number of pieces is 1,969, which was the year that they landed on the moon. I mean, how clever, right? So clever, you Lego people. I think overall, our favorite thing that we did in Chicago was going to the Museum of Science and Industry.
So they had a new Pixar exhibit when we visited. They like went through all of like how they made the movies, and you had like different stations where you could like operate a camera or see how like a 3D model was made.
They had a section where you could play with the lighting, so it showed that if you wanted it to look like it was daytime, like morning, it was like a warmer tone, and then as you went on to the evening, it got like cooler. And they also had this station where you could show how the animators made expressions, so you could like move your smile up or move your eyelid down, or move the eyeball around. And they also had one dealing with animation where you could like control their arm and like see how the physics of a body has to move and how you have to have certain points so that it looks natural.
So the other big exhibit we visited at the Museum of Science and Industry was the mine that they had. So it takes you down underground and kind of walks you through a mine and shows you all the different tools and like kind of educates kids on how all that was done and like the hardships and things that the miners had to go through.
One of the really cool things from that exhibit was it was an actual mining elevator that you got to go down in.
So my favorite section is the space section. They have like a lunar lander in there. It's not an actual one, obviously, but it's one of the, I think it's an actual test one that they used. They also had a few actual flown spacecrafts. And we got these shirts.
The Museum of Science and Industry is gigantic, and we probably could have stayed there for twice as long as we did. Everything is awesome. What happens when we go on road trips, right?
With this guy.
With this guy, we got to go to all the game stores along the way.
So yeah, one reason I like to go to Chicago is there is a lot of game stores in Chicago and on the way to Chicago. So I picked up Game Boy Game, Game & Watch Gallery 3. I had some of the other ones, so I wanted to get that. So I ended up getting Turok 1 and 2. I don't know why, but every time I saw either one of these games, the label was terrible, and I finally found some that looked nice. And one that I've been looking for a really long time, which isn't even that hard to find, is Home Alone on the NES. I don't know why I could never find it. I probably found a few copies that looked bad, but I always loved it when we rented this game when I was a kid. I used to run around in the house and like drop these traps for Marv and Harry. It's kind of a stupid game, but it's fun.
I love this movie.
So as we were leaving one of the game stores, Mandy pointed out to me that they had brand new Dreamcast VMUs hanging on the wall. So I bought a few of these. They were pretty cheap, and I thought it was cool just to have something brand new in the box from Dreamcast.
And let me tell you, I was like, hey Nick, they have Dreamcast VMUs. That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
I knew the name and everything.
Yeah. I also picked up Claymates for Super Nintendo. We used to rent this one a lot too. It's kind of like a platformer, and the graphics look like little clay figures.
What was that show?
Gumby?
Gumby.
Yeah, it's kind of like Gumby.
The best find of the whole trip
Was this box for a NES themed Game Boy SP. I already had the system and everything, but I really wanted a box because it looks cool. I mean, why wouldn't you want this?
Yeah, I remember when you bought the original one. I don't know why we didn't keep the box.
Yeah, I
from
should have
it.
just saved the box. That would save me a lot of money.
We also found some really great places to eat there. We went to Bubba Gump Shrimp Company.
And it was really cool for Elliot. So he got like an icy drink, and it came with like a souvenir cup.
And it actually, when you lifted it off of the ground, it projected a little logo. He loved that thing so much.
Yeah. So one of his other favorite restaurants was Two Toots. They are one of the restaurants that brings your food to you on a train.
It's really fun to go to those places. Elliot's face just lights up when he sees that train coming around.
So we also went to the Rainforest Cafe. They have like big animatronic animals inside. As you're eating, the lights will kind of like dim down, and it'll start like thundering, and like it sounds like it's
Steam
like
will come out.
a storm's coming through.
Fog will come out around the animals, and they start moving. Of course, if you go to Chicago, you've got to get a Chicago dog. And the only place that we trust to get a good Chicago dog is
Portillos. So we like to get a Chicago dog, at least one or two. And then we also usually get the Italian beef, and fries, obviously.
with cheese. And we have to get a chocolate cake shake. It is so good. It's like they take chocolate milkshake and they put chocolate cake in it. We really lucked out on all of our trips this year with great weather, but especially in Chicago.
Yeah.
The weather was amazing.
And I also really enjoyed going to all the game stores and picking up some new stuff.
And I just love going to Chicago because it's such a beautiful city. Can't wait to go back. We say that every time, but we like to travel.
Okay, done.
Thanks so much for watching this video. Be sure to hit the like button, and if you want to see more super adventures, click the subscribe button.